Hello everyone. Looks like we have the second Brother Eye recalibration. So this one says that it's planned for 7th of October to be released, and that this one is only going to be buffs and no nerfs, which is nice. The previous nerfs were a little bit too much, especially for legs. They changed her type from agile to tactical. Thematically, they say okay. So it counters crit teams because many crit characters are mighty. Yes, also if you read the new two teams that were released, the 11 State Kids and the Mera Plus Aquaman, they both have anti-crit in their kits or at the physical damage, so they kinda want to nuke that from at least PvP, so you cannot use or rely on a crit team anymore. The only reason I'm still using them is because of the buffs for anti-heroes, that also Red Hood is one, and it looks like they have buffed. I very quickly glanced through it. Now we're gonna read it a little bit more extensively. It looks like they're gonna buff a bride by an important it will probably be noticeable. So okay, they add one stack of frostbite. I think they have that already in game. This will probably be a big difference. Like today we're changing Lifesteal, how it works in a powerful way. They changed how crit and block interact in the previews of those of the Brother Eyes, and it basically ended up having the block team be the new arena meta, and the Wonder Woman to some degree counter by them because they will still, okay, they were losing in Elite Arena, but they are still part of the team in a main arena for many people. Today we'll change how Lifesteal works in a powerful way. Previously Lifesteal was treated differently like healing and would not be increased by having heal bonuses, and would not be reduced by heal reduction. Lifesteal is not considered as a healing. The way I read it kinda, because the previous changes they kinda tried to frame like Zatanna's and Lex changes as a little bit of a double-edged sword, that some situations can be better. Maybe it's the same here. That's what I'm originally thinking, that they frame it as a possible win, but can also be a bigger loss at the end. I know 100% this happened with for Lex. So why am I saying this? A little bit later says that it's gonna be countered. So this means Lifesteal will work well with his Flashing Synergy, heal crits, Starfire's heal collection. I wouldn't put heal on a character just to who drains. Pandora maybe, but Pandora has heal crit on her kit. Besides that, that's what it might make some sense. And as you see here, her team is also getting buffed. Maybe it will actually be very strong now. So it works with a heal crit, Starfire heal collection. Might make this team a little bit more usable, we'll see. And Martian Manhunter's ultimate. Like, I'm a little bit annoying from some characters like this because it's very random how you pull them. They don't have a banner and they have very niche uses, so I'm not sure, like legendary like Martian Manhunter. Lifesteal will also be reduced by degrees healing, that's the nerf, from the bat cycle, poison reduction, and will no longer heal when countered by poisons, IV team synergy. So I kinda like that because I'm building Poison Ivy. I like Poison. Maybe both teams will resurface a little bit, but this probably doesn't make sense. Maybe we'll just see more Poison. We'll see. Characters like Zatanna and Two-Face can add Lifesteal to allies, and many other others have Lifesteal built into their abilities, including their newly reworked wizard. So they're killing the crit team even more. That's it basically, because you would be using. I know I was using especially main sages a lot, which won't change too much. Both Zatanna and Two-Face and Wonder Woman were staying alive. Now you can also throw poison against them, and they will be harder countered by that, so they will drain even less, and one more way to beat them, basically, is what I'm reading. Hard hit, it says it's gonna be hitting twice as much, so now it increases the damage given for the next non-ultimate attack by 20% per stack instead of 10%. So that's a buff both for the new team, the 11th State Kit, but also for the new team, the creature commandos that we're gonna see later on. Also for anti-heroes where Red Hood fits attack, and I think you can get up to 5 stacks, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's 4, but I think 5. So if the stacks remain the same, so 5 stacks of hard hit is the maximum, and it now gives plus 20%, plus 100% advanced attack damage, can be very, very strong. Basic, a little bit less impactful still, but maybe like with a Bright Ultimate it will actually be hitting a bit harder now for everyone that attacks. We'll see, because actually this was a way of rebuffing almost, like what they did with the anti-heroes, that still kept in the meta for a little while, at least for me, the crit team, so maybe it's another way of being a double-edged sword. They changed Steppenwolf that he will no longer bypass the so yeah, you can use, let's say, Cyborg or both Superman, especially Superman DCU. That's why probably they did it, because he was being used there a lot. They also had the dumping tag, which did kind of without a warning, and it was annoying to many people that they would want to know about that, so they could have pulled them if they knew they weren't gonna need them for the League Challenge. But it makes sense, they're superpower damage dealers, it only requires 2 characters. The higher difficulty that I'm doing, not the highest, level 7, it requires 2 characters. I think rank 8, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's rank 7, but I think it's rank 8. And it's probably rank 10 for the last difficulty. So I'm imagining, I don't remember their how the skills from Steppenwolf are called. I imagine the cross cliff is the one that kills you entirely and not the one that hits everyone on your team. So some people will, especially like Superman DCU, will even be stronger against Steppenwolf to some degree. Nice. Or like Peacemaker's helmet could get some play there around the tank, like many people were using Lex, for example. Alright. We'll see about that, how much this impacts things. Bride has wonderful skills that make her an ideal tank. I don't think so. However, in practice, he often lacked the kind of resilience a true tank should have. Okay, this update should fix that by increasing how much HP she has and increasing her damage potential for the next of the battle when she revives. Nice. When the Bride receives a fatal attack, she revives with 80% HP. I think it was 10 or 20 now. Her crit rate increases by 50% for the rest of the battle. Very nice. And she instantly reinforced her basic attack. She was doing that. Attack has 100% lifesteal. I think it had. I don't know why it's bolded here with orange letters, but okay. Or it needed to be on her bats, and they changed her bats. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. And her bats at level 3 undying bonus crit rate increases to 100% for the rest of the battle. Alright, very nice. So, they take from crit, they give to crit. I don't know. When triggered, the Bride gains 20% damage reduction for the rest of the battle. So when she dies and revives, she gains extra damage reduction. Very nice. Okay. And she has more lifesteal that can be stopped to some degree by poison and the bat cycle. Alright. They gave her 4% more defense and 12% more attack. Okay, nice. Dr. Phosphorus, let's go to the changes, has 50% superpower reduction, but take an additional 15% from physical damage. I don't know how much it was. Let's see what they say above. Will now have the opposite of the Kryptonian passive that grants Kryptonians. So maybe he didn't have that at all, and he can be a tank in the right circumstances. Alright, so he gains 50% superpower reduction is a lot. If it acts like what like the Kryptonians are doing, it's definitely very strong. And he takes 15% more damage from physical. At the start of the turn, Phosphorus heals, so he has 2 passive, yes. Heals himself for 1% of his max HP for each sack of burn he has, up to maximum 5% per turn. Okay, a little bit extra nice. Goes to 10% and 15. 15 is very strong in the context now of the game. Dr. Phosphorus now inflicts 1 stack of burn on the enemy and 2 stacks of burn on himself. Maybe he was doing 1 and he was gonna be healing now more and do other stuff. I haven't played with Phosphorus too much. Phosphorus now adds, but I have some fragments I'm kinda interested on, and he's an anti-hero. He adds now 2 stacks of burn to the enemy and 4 stacks of burn to himself. So it amplifies him a bit more. We'll see if they get player more. I kinda like that with Bright. I don't know how much better she's gonna be, but I'm using her now in Elite Arena. I'm using her in main stages many times, so maybe this will make her a little bit better, or even kind of synergize with the rest of the 11th Street kids, since he also gives a buff that now is double the power with the how they called this one, the hard hits. So they will be giving hard hits. Bright will be giving. They could kind of synergize with themselves. Okay. So he also gains like in ultimate energy. Enemies take a 20% additional damage for each sack of burn Dr. Phosphorus has on himself, and 30% additional damage. Nice. And a 19% more HP and for his base, and 27% more from leveling. Okay, that could change things a little bit. We'll see. I know some people were using Phosphorus with a burn, especially now that they have more stats for anti-heroes in Elite Arena. We'll see what will happen with it, but generally speaking, people were not very positive about him even now. But his ultimate is area of effect hits everyone, so he could get some play in some situations, even like Parademons burn, let's say. The Weasel has received some serious updates. Not only are several skills being brought up to power, he's also getting complete rework to his badge and team synergy. Previously, other than the general stat bonuses that all team states provide, Weasel synergy exclusively granted bonuses to Weasel. Additionally, didn't counter any other team comp. Yes, I agree. Generally speaking, we want the team synergy to be fun space to build a team around and not focus only on a single character. Not only that, it did something that their kids already were doing to some degree, so it was very his impact was very little. Now his reworked team synergy more directly counters shields and dispels buffs. Okay, we have like bleed characters that can counter shields. Okay, maybe with like a Hull, Green Lantern Hull team could be countered a little bit by them. Dispels buffs. We'll see. His old team series was fun and gross, and we didn't want to totally lose that flavor. So we moved his old team synergy functionality into his badge. You don't have to worry, the Weasel can still be your buddy. Okay. That's maybe a call out from the show. I have watched like half of it, so maybe I don't know who he becomes the body at the end. So all allies from his team synergy from Weasel, all allies gain 25% shield penetration. Ally basic attacks dispel one stack of a random buff from the target. That's nice, that's wrong. I'm thinking like shielders that gain a lot of buffs. When damaged by an ally, like Lex gets some buffs by himself that cloak that don't allow him to be controlled that easily, but shield is already too much like countered in the meta and not so useful. Like some Hal team that would like with Zatanna, so he can drain less. I don't know. When damaged by an ally, gain one stack of recuperate and one stack. What? And one stack of haste for 2 rounds. If they hit themselves, they will gain recuperates, and one stack of haste is actually very nice, and the recuperate kind of counters the damaging the ally part eventually, so they can be a little bit take more advantage of that playing by themselves and not relying on different team synergy. Okay, shield penetration increased to 75. Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. All attacks against an enemy with shields will have 100% crit chance. Alright. We'll have to see that in practice. And I haven't played with Weasel and Phosphorus so much. We'll have to see exactly how they fare, if they can be combined with 11 shield kits in some way. At the start, bats fully work. At the start of the battle, a front row ally with high HP becomes Weasel body. He deals less damage to his body. Okay. Again, like Bright was healing some part of the damage that he was taking already, so it nerfs a little bit Bright hit, or at least it's a little bit less impactful. But okay. Weasel, it's up to 2 types of debuffs. So he cleanses his body and he heals them. Alright, that's very nice. And damage to enemies from just enable increases to 200%, and Weasel will always enable an enemy after enabling an ally. Oh, that's strong. That so he won't attack his teammates that much more than doing damage to the opponents. Ultimate cost 3. Okay, his ultimate cost was too expensive. I know that it was a way of reducing the cost. Now has a, let's see, changes at the enemy team. Okay, the same ultimate. All of Weasel attacks apply 1 stack of bleed to enemies for 2 turns. Nice. Was some attacks? I don't know what it was. When below 60% HP, all of Weasel's attack apply an additional stack of bleed for 2 turns. Nice. When at or below 50% HP, all of Weasel's attacks will have 50% lifesteal. Nice. Advanced ability now has 1 turn initial cooldown. Maybe he will do it faster, I don't know. So Mr. Terrific, fair play. With his ultimate, once sure that fair play comes. Yeah, there was a bug if there were no corresponding opponents in the opposite position, like if enemies were defeated or you're fighting a team with less opponents, then the duplicate debuffs would go nowhere. Now, if there is no enemy in a valid slot, it will apply the debuff to a random enemy. Nice, and I hope this also fixes the bug that he wasn't cleansing, I believe, his teammates if there was no opponent to copy them on. So he's gonna be stronger by that. I think he also has a bug where his team synergy heals his teammates when they are when the debuffs expire, not just when he cleanses debuffs. So I don't know what they're doing with that. So let's see. Guys getting a small nudge. When an enemy does not have the interference debuff, his ultimate will now target the enemy with low HP. Very nice, and actually can help a lot, especially also against parademons, can help in some situations for you to put a higher score. So he attacks the enemy with the lowest HP. That if his ultimate kills someone, it does one more advanced attack for free, and he gains one energy back to do ultimates. Green Lantern John, he was there for a long time. He creates a bigger shield. After 2 turns, attack the enemy with the lowest HP. That wasn't the case. Maybe he deals more damage. Shield increase 75% of max HP. That's wrong. When damage the enemy, apply 1 stock of exhaustion. I think he was already kinda doing exhaustion. Maybe he's doing it earlier. Okay, one attack, gain 1 stack of weakness insights. Damage reduction increases to 4%. 40% of counter attack. When any one of his team is attacked, not just him, okay, maybe that can make him a lot stronger. Dealing superpower damage, inflicts 1 random debuff, maybe stronger for the debuff team. While aiming with his sniper, the counter attack also gains 70% lifesteal. So aiming with sniper is when he has his ultimate up, but not haven't hitten everyone. So alright, so he can be more survivable. I don't know what was the qualification here, because the bolt is with aiming with sniper. Additionally, he will always counter attack when he's hit by an enemy. Alright, and he gains more damage and lifesteal after that. His badge as a result of the battle, all lanterns gain 1 stack of weakness insight for each Green Lantern ally. If the target has 6 type of debuffs, 1 additional exhaustion is added. Okay, they also buff Glenn and Jessica. Maybe they want people to play with them together. When she has at least 10 stacks, her ultimate will cost 1 less ultimate point, very strong. It's 3 costs, isn't it? It's not too expensive to do. But increases the maximum stacks to 20, very strong. And Jessica Cruz's ultimate has no longer a cooldown at all, or is there a qualification? It still maybe has like every 2 turns or whatever, I don't know, when it happens, and just will cost no ultimate energy. Let me see. Transfer shield. We'll have to see about that. Haven't really played with Jessica and John too much. Or Hal, I don't know. I have rented him as a mercenary. He's very strong, but it's very random to get him as a legendary that doesn't have a banner. Starfire now gains energy for each enemy detonated. Very strong. For her passive, who gains energy? We have more energy to do ultimates. That can make the when attacking an enemy in the back row, increases crit chance by 30%. I feel like I'm reading too much, and we'll have to see in practice, like actually how the changes will be. But they, on paper at least, look to be more impactful for some characters than the previous ones. We'll have to see. When attacking an enemy in the back row, increases crit chance by 30%. And adds 1 stack of weaken for 2 turns. The start of I'm reading the changes because then it will be too big the video if I'm reading everything. At the start of her turn, if there are front row enemies standing, gains 4 stacks of haste for 1 turn. Very nice. If there are no front row enemies standing, reduce ultimate cost by 1. It's only 2 cost. There's more damage, has more crit chance, she has more crit chance. Right, let's say we'll see. Bizarro, advanced attack, is adding 1 stack of burn, it was on his emblem. When Bizarro and the ally healing themselves for 5% of their own max HP. I don't know if it was 3% or what it was, but tonight healed amount increases to 10% of respective max HP. And when the ally holding the flower is defeated, Bizarro heals to full HP. That's very strong. Especially if a second off target that he is. Vixen. And what did they do to his buds? Wasn't adding 1 stack of burn, so now maybe it adds 2. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't see any changes to Bizarro's buds. So Vixen now. Health bonus from her buds 45% as the first stat. Was just something different? I don't know, or did they make it bigger? Typically tanks also have this bonus. They didn't have HP, they had something else in the let's see, attack bonus. An attack health and attack bonus, and it has a minor reflect, like I don't know what they're doing here, adding a 4th stat. So they have attack bonus as the 4th stat. They removed the reflect. They gave health because he wasn't getting any health from her buds. Definitely, if that's the case, that's definitely a very important buff, having her have 45% more HP potentially, because maybe her bugs isn't maxed for you. Deals more damage her ultimate, okay. She gains more HP, she gains more defense. I don't know, like, what Vixen would do, because we already have a strong block team, and I don't know how many people are using a bleed team. But okay, it's nice, especially for early game players, that they have pulled her, don't have Blue Beetle. Definitely they're fixing a bug with her. A Constantine is very important difference. Like, changing this line, his kit to sacrifice, is massive, and now a lot more things will happen with, like, Pandora's team synergy, which will activate a lot more, and I think with Aquaman, I will be tired now. I cannot remember exactly what happens with every sacrifice character and their kits, and it will be too long of a video, but this can possibly be the difference of having a sacrifice team now be a thing and really usable. Kid Flash, they changed his team synergy. What are they saying? I'm kind of saying because they nerfed him the previous one, and they maybe he became a little bit less usable also because of that, and not just because Pandora signed him. Kid Flash is the strongest burst healing character. However, his team synergy has always been a little simple. I agree. Currently, it just generally increases healing, and at max level it adds more healing to its allies, so now it will increase drain. Might actually be a buff in main stages for crit, and a nerf in PvP. It's kind of weird what they're doing with the crit team in general, and to counter her. In this update, we're adding some new counterplay into his team synergy by making it counter teams focus on burn and silence. Okay, so no change at the first. At the second, it cleanses all burn stats at the start of each ally's turn and heal 5% of their missing HP for its stack cleansed. During battle, all allies gain 20% healing received bonus and 30% burn damage resistance. So just for the detonations, I guess, not for the damage people are doing that have the burn tag. And it's end of its allies' turn, heals them for 5% of the missing HP and cleanses signs. Oh, that's very strong. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Maybe a whole like heal team will be a thing now. I know some people were using that in Elite Arena. I don't know about Burn. And he cleanses silence, he heals them. He was healing only himself for 5% of his missing HP, and now heals everyone. I don't know. As I'm reading those seem impactful. Maybe they won't end up being. We'll have to see exactly how they turn out. If an enemy has 8 or more stacks of poison, they can no longer heal. Like, as long as they're having them, I guess. Ivy's team synergy always felt weird to me because each stack of poison, if I recall correctly, reduces healing received by 10%. So even without the line that was there, that if the enemy has, I think it was 10 before, and now they make it 8. If they have 8 or stacks of poison, they can no longer heal. Even if Ivy's team synergy wasn't active because of the stacks of poison, this would happen already. So it's kind of a wasted line in here, and kind of almost like they're trying to trick you that the poison Ivy's team synergy does something that it doesn't. Right now, at least they are. Sorry. At least now they are changing her. That it requires 2 less stacks of poison to stop the heals from the opponents. So I don't know if they can do that. Like, they have both a heal team resurface in the game and be stronger, and both a poison to counter them. How many? We don't have like many places where we can use and anti-heroes. That's maybe a problem. That maybe some of those changes don't seem as impactful. We only have 3 main stage teams and 3 elite arena teams, and 90% of the time those overlap by a big degree. So you really need to shake up the meta to replace those teams. It happens to some degree with elite arena rules. Sometimes they don't really change much, but if there were other game modes where you could use like 5-6 teams, then maybe you could see like a 4th best team in the game to get some play and to actually be happy about those changes. Now they really need to outshine other teams, and there is very limited space for using teams. It's very limited of how many you need to use, and if you have a big investment into 3 teams, if they release a team that's even 20% better, many times it's not really worth it to start building them from scratch instead of keep investing and put the final touches on the previous teams. You need to be a little bit stronger, or you do them way on your free time and leeway. Not don't stop building a team that's working to have them be weaker for a while and you lose, so eventually you have a team that's 10% better or 20. Ocean Master was banned, it says, and it is his advanced ability was not applying correctly block amount. Okay, we'll see how this plays out. If he wasn't applying at all, it might be a very big difference. Maybe it was ignoring the plus 20%. That's the base block amount. It's the first time actually I'm hearing about this. I'm just speculating. Tag changes, that's what many people were looking for. Phosphorus gains the superpower damage reduction tag. I don't think that matters at all. Physical damage reductions, maybe new tag, I don't know. I don't think that matters at the moment. If there's nothing in the game where you use those tags, those are just descriptive and it doesn't matter at all. Haste the Flash, Slow Two-Face, Cleanse Mr. Terrific, Dispel Zatanna, Counterfeit Peacemaker. They should also have a Blue Beetle there, maybe they have. Anti-Tank, Superman DCU. He wasn't considered one. I don't know what they're doing. And Batman should be in there. Maybe he is, and they just didn't have the correct tags for them. And I don't really care. Like, they're adding Armor Break tag to Groot and Peacemaker. Okay, fine. They are descriptive at the moment. Fear Raven, single target burst Guy Gardner. That can be nice for some people that have investment to him, but maybe for like the powering Evil Falls or League Challenge 2 to potentially at least have the requirement filled, because League Challenge 2 is the superpower damage dealer, needs physicals. I don't know exactly what he would do against powering, but okay, giving him an extra attack, making the team synergy. Sorry guys about that. Making the team synergy easier to activate. Nice. Bright gains the sacrifice tag. I thought she had sacrifice on her kit, but nice. I don't think you will get much of that, in the sense that I don't think people will maybe like just using Pandora and hers. Okay, nice that you can do that easier. You don't need to have many sacrifice characters. I don't know if I think it's just sacrifice that happens in characters' kits, not something to do with their tags, with her team synergy, so maybe it doesn't change too much. But sometimes, like, I would have Pandora very rarely, but I would have Pandora in a team, in the third main stages team, without Constantine or someone else that had the sacrifice tag, and I couldn't use her team synergy, so maybe I needed to bring a different character with a team synergy, or I would prefer using her team synergy over other team synergies, and I couldn't. So that's an extra nice a little bit. Okay. Sealed Pandora is super important. Thank you for doing that. It was very annoying for people that have this on the second league challenge. Now you can bring Pandora in there and have 2 free spots to play around with, and not one, because you guys don't know, still in the second league challenge you need physical damage, and all sealed characters are superpower damage dealers. You also need a healer for your team to survive, so you practically had to use Pandora anyways, and you had only one spot. Now, if Pandora counts as a sealed character, you have a second spot where you can use the Peacemaker or a second damage dealer, and you can play around more. They removed superpower damage attack from Superman this year. I understand why, but okay. They say, okay, let's talk about that. Excited to see how this rebalance picks up the meta. Till the bird now have team synergies that help counter them. A little bit like a circle, like I don't know to what degree that's their intent, but crit are countered by block are countered by burn are countered by heal. Okay. The creature commanders receive powerful buffs. Green Lanterns have some new uses, and there's some nice new ways to counter Steppenwolf. To a small degree, maybe. Alright, okay. I like especially for Pandora and both her tag here and what the change with Constantine can actually make a potentially strong team. We'll have to see. I want to taste Aquaman and Mera with them. We'll see what happens exactly with Kid Flash and how you can use them. Very small changes for Ivy to counter. And yeah, then Poison will counter a heal. Alright, and some characters with a buff like Vixen, like Creature Commandos, Starfire and Bizarro, the Green Lanterns. They fixed Guy's ultimate, very nice. Maybe they will leave him synergy as it works and he is gonna be stronger than before. And Guy definitely received a small nice buff here with his ultimate in some situations. Weasel, what else is it? It's hard hit. It's also a little bit of a buff for 11 seed kids. Maybe they were underperforming, especially not at rank 10. The stacks of hard hit didn't really feel like they're doing much. Changed Lifesteal that they can be buffed by healing or by kit class, but also countered by poison. I think her changes were already live. Okay, that's it for now, guys.